What's up, everybody? It's the homie Truth Teller, the street reporter, and a lot of people always asking me about stuff about the drill culture, like I always tell you. But you know a person I'm always asked about. Before I get into that, remember the drill culture is so big that you don't really have to have a hit record of songs to be involved in this shit or be considered a drill star. It's plenty of people who done jumped in this culture, tapped into this culture, who done kind of blew up and kind of got the legend tag behind their name, even though they don't got songs in it. And that's why today it's one of the people a lot of people ask me about is a guy by the name of DRose600. And I'm not gonna lie, when I looked into his case, I seen a lot of things in his case that was concerning to me, especially the fact that a lot of people say that they believe he's locked up for a murder that he didn't commit, and a lot of people know he didn't commit it. It's just that his name was hot and the op said his name. Yeah, that might be a possibility because it is people in the paperwork. I got a chance to look at the paperwork, and it is witnesses on the paperwork that point DRose out. He was actually pointed out in the lineup too, which make that case kind of hard for him to try to beat in the appeal because he was convicted of killing Vinzel Richardson, I believe, leaving out of a corner store, I believe, somewhere, and the police had locked him up for that. He was convicted and found guilty of that. I think he's going to serve about 40 years or something like that. I think he's up for an appeal like that. It was rumors that he lost his appeal, but I think that was just a rumor. I still think he's up for that. I could be wrong, but I still think he's up for that. But I could be wrong. I'm not going to lie. Like I say, when I looked into his case, I seen that it was eyewitnesses. It's a lot of people in the paperwork. And the thing that kind of confused me is it's a lot of people who single-handedly pointed him out by name. Like, it wasn't that, people said it was a short, light-skinned dude or something. People said his name in the paperwork, which led me to believe that, people knew exactly who the fuck that was who opened fire on Vinzel Richardson. You got to understand, D-Rose had a reputation in these streets of being a shooter, a gunman, a nigga you don't play with. Think about it. He's named after an NBA player. You get it? A shooter. You get what I'm saying? So you guys got to look at this shit and understand that, that guy got some background. And I think that might have played against him with the police and shit like that too. Because the more I looked into D-Rose, I seen that he was actually brought in for questioning in Lil JoJo murder. Joseph Coleman is the guy who ended up losing his life due to gun violence on the south side of Chicago. He was a rapper too. I believe he was gunned down on 69th and Eggleston. D-Rose was brought in for questioning on that murder. I was surprised when I seen that in the paperwork. You can actually find that in the Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Tribune and the CBS local news. So this is a fact. This is not just like me guessing this or hearing this from some people in the street. His name got brought up in that murder investigation. Wasn't no evidence to prove that, so he was let go and shit like that. So, he was innocent, but like I was saying, he has a background. He was actually locked up when the drill culture kind of really popped off. We heard songs of Chief Keef naming him, name dropping him. So we knew that this guy was a non-play type of dude. You know what I'm saying? We seen earlier videos of him and King Von, taking some Tims from somebody and all kind of shit. So we know D-Rose had that background, but a lot of people are always asking me about him. And I done did breakdowns and I done talked about him. But for the new people who jump in the culture and don't really know, they want to know my opinion. Anything is possible. I believe, if the guy's innocent and he do his appeal shit and maybe he can beat it. But I do think I seen a newspaper article that says that appeal process is over, but I'm not sure. Okay? So don't quote me on that.